When Mrs. Thompson handed back the calculus tests, a heavy silence fell over the classroom. Everyone got their paper back, except for Jamal. He was the only black student in the advanced placement class, a fact that sometimes felt like a spotlight and other times like a shadow. Mrs. Thompson, a teacher known for her stern demeanor, stood at the front of the room, holding one last test paper. Her eyes scanned the students before landing on Jamal. "Jamal," she said, her voice sharp, "I need to see you after class." A wave of murmurs rippled through the room. Jamal's heart sank. He knew he had aced that test. He'd spent weeks preparing, sacrificing his weekends and evenings, but the look on Mrs. Thompson's face wasn't one of pride. It was one of suspicion. After the bell rang, the classroom emptied, leaving Jamal alone with his teacher. The air was thick with tension. Mrs. Thompson placed his test on the desk. A bright red 100% was circled at the top, but next to it, in the same red ink, was a single, jarring word. Cheetah Jamal stared at it, his mind reeling. "A perfect score, Jamal," Mrs. Thompson began, her arms crossed. "No one gets a perfect score on my calculus final, not even my top students." She gestured to the test. "The solutions are too clean, too perfect. They mirror the answer key, almost exactly. I don't believe you did this on your own." Jamal felt a mix of anger and hurt bubble up inside him. "I didn't cheat," he said, his voice steady despite the tremor he felt. "I studied for this. I studied harder than I've ever studied for anything." Mrs. Thompson was unmoved. "I find that hard to believe," she said coldly. "Given your background, a perfect score is highly improbable." The word background hung in the air, heavy and unspoken. Jamal knew what she meant. He was from a low-income neighborhood, raised by a single mother. He was black. In her eyes, the numbers just didn't add up. "I'm giving you a choice," she continued. "You can either admit to cheating and receive a 0, or I will take this to the principal, and you'll face the Academic Integrity Board. That could mean suspension, or even expulsion." Jamal felt trapped. His dream of getting a scholarship to study engineering was evaporating before his eyes. Admitting to something he didn't do was unthinkable, but the thought of an academic board terrified him. He was one person against the system. Who would they believe? That night, Jamal couldn't sleep. He told his mom what happened, and she was furious. "We're not letting this go," she said, her voice fierce. "You worked for that grade, and no one is going to take it away from you." The next day, Jamal and his mother went to the principal's office. Mrs. Thompson was already there, looking confident. Principal Davis listened patiently as both sides presented their story. Mrs. Thompson laid out her evidence, the perfect score, the unlikely achievement. Jamal's mom spoke passionately about her son's dedication, his late-night studying, and his passion for math. She pointed out the complete lack of any actual evidence of cheating, no cheat sheet. No witness, nothing. Principal Davies, a fair-minded man, was caught in the middle. He didn't want to accuse a teacher of bias, but he also saw the injustice in the situation. "There's only one way to settle this," he finally said, looking at Jamal. "Mrs. Thompson will create a brand new test, with questions of equal or greater difficulty. You will take it here, in my office, right now. I will supervise you myself." A hush fell over the room. Mrs. Thompson looked smug, as if she was certain Jamal would be exposed. Jamal's heart pounded, but he met the principal's gaze. "Okay," he said. "I'll do it." He felt a surge of determination. This wasn't just about a grade anymore. It was about his honor, his future, and proving that expectations based on prejudice were worthless. For the next 2 hours, Jamal sat in the principal's office, the only sounds being the scratching of his pencil and the ticking of the clock on the wall. Principal Davis watched, and Mrs. Thompson waited outside, pacing the hallway. The new test was even harder than the first. The problems were complex, multi-step, and designed to trip up even the most prepared student. But Jamal was in his element. He saw the patterns, the logic, the elegant dance of numbers and symbols. He had put in the work, and the knowledge was there, locked in his mind. He double-checked his answers, feeling a quiet confidence build with each problem he solved. Finally, he put his pencil down. "I'm finished," he announced. Principal Davis took the test. He pulled out the new answer key Mrs. Thompson had provided. He began to grade it, his red pen hovering over the paper. Jamal held his breath. Mrs. Thompson stood in the doorway, her expression unreadable. The principal marked the first question. Correct. The second. Correct. The third, fourth, fifth. He went through the entire test, page by page. A slow smile spread across his face. He looked up, first at Mrs. Thompson, then at Jamal. "Well," Principal Davis said, the smile evident in his voice, "it seems we have our answer." He turned the paper around for them both to see. At the top, in bold, red ink, he had written 100%. A stunned silence filled the office. Mrs. Thompson's face went pale. She stared at the test. Tenad Gamal, her disbelief palpable. There was no denying it. No excuses. Jamal had done it again. He hadn't just passed, he had achieved perfection. Twice. The accusation, the suspicion. The entire ordeal crumbled under the weight of his undeniable talent and hard work. Principal Davis turned to Mrs. Thompson. "I believe you owe this young man an apology," he said, his tone leaving no room for argument. "And I will be documenting this incident. Our school has a zero-tolerance policy for bias." Mrs. Thompson mumbled a barely audible apology, her eyes fixed on the floor, before quickly exiting the office. Jamal felt a wave of relief so powerful it almost buckled his knees. He had faced down the accusation and proved his worth, not with words, but with irrefutable proof. As he and his mom left the school, the sun felt a little brighter. The incident left a scar, a painful reminder of the prejudice that still existed, but it also forged in him a new kind of strength. He knew his journey wouldn't always be easy, but he also knew he had the intelligence, the drive, and the integrity to overcome any obstacle put in his path. His perfect score was more than just a number on a page. It was a testament to his character, and a promise of the bright future he was determined to build for himself. Thanks for watching. If you were inspired by Jamal's story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this.